Back on August 19, 2019, I had a tip that at 8:48 a.m. on 16th and Market that there would be a terrorist attack, a bombing, with the person that left New York and had it set up to where he's going to come to Philadelphia. He had those 3 rice cookers. He was going to come out of Fulton Street Station, and at 8:48 a.m. the transit cop that was parked right here left dead on at the exact time, 8:48. But he was there at least a good half hour beforehand. $8:45. Now it's 8:48. There he is right there. He's still there. There he is leaving. At exactly 8:48 a.m. You can't quite make out the time. It's kind of like 8 like 30-ish. It's like 8:30-ish. And so you guys are taking it serious then. So there they are right there, and they've been there the entire time since I got there. I got there around 8. About almost an hour beforehand. So they're the ones that pulled off at exactly 8:48 a.m. So the first 9/11, the attack, the one that was hijacked, was between 8:42 and 8:46 a.m. And it was 60 miles northward of New York. United Airlines Flight 93, Boeing 757, at 8:42, departs 42 minutes late from Newark International. So this flight that was hijacked above northeast New Jersey, continuing southward briefly before turning back to the northeast. 8:46 a.m. in 40 seconds, Flight 11 crashes into the north face of the North Tower, World Trade Center 1. Right at 8:47, 20 seconds beforehand. Now between 8:50 and 8:45, Flight 77 is hijacked, turning to the southeast. And then at 9:03, so that's 10, 14, was that 17? Yeah, so 17 minutes later, Flight 175 crashes into the south face, Tower 2 of the World Center. Between 77 and 85 floors, parts of the plane, including the starboard engine, left the building, leave the building from its east and north sides, falling to the ground 6 blocks away. Man. And then at 9:28, Flight 93 is hijacked, turning to the southeast. Flight 77 at 9:37 and 46 seconds, crashes into the west side of the Pentagon and starts a violent fire. It started a violent fire. That image that flew right at the bottom of the Pentagon, just at 8:45, United States airspace is shut down. So wow, so well, it literally took 1 hour to shut everything down. So for in 1 hour, yeah, well, there you go. So approximately between 8:42 and 8:46 is when it's hijacked. Well, 42, and at 9:45, for in 1 hour, everything shut down. And at 10 o'clock, well, 1 minute before 10 o'clock, the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed. 56 minutes after the impact of Flight 175. Hold on, let me count the days between the last major news dominating event and the 14th of, or the 16th of October.
Services, all lines through Fulton Street, trains would not be stopping. We got the all clear to resume stopping at Fulton Street on all lines except the 2-3 at 08:48. And as of right now...
That's because the 2-3 bypass still has to happen. This was on August 16th. So it took me 3 days to figure out where they were talking about next being in that area at 8:48. And that transit cop left at exactly 8:48. And here is PIX, or Planet X, where X marks the spot. Philadelphia, the second 9/11, 7th and of the 8th year, the 5th trumpet that they're trying to play out that already happened 8 years ago. Building 8 is right on the corner. 1010 is, you know, what wins. Apparently I put Steve in retirement because he's out. So there's your second 9/11. So here was the first impact. This is the footage I was trying to get, but they're set up. They already knew, being on the inside at 8:46 a.m.
It was 8:46 in the morning, and then we heard a plane come over. And in Manhattan, you don't hear planes too often, especially loud ones.
Yeah, I'm sure that Mr. Captain America here was just spray painting on the bottom, and the camera guy, for whatever reason, is recording this. Holy, oh my goodness!
Right then and there, I knew.
And the next one at 9:03 exactly. So what I'm saying is, once this first one hit, anybody that's on the ground, debris falls, can get killed. Now the second one, they had everybody evacuated out of the area at least, and then whoever's in the building. But there's a less of a chance that more people got hurt on the ground, except for the ones that went up on this side of the building, and then because others they had to jump and fall down from that side of the building. So at 9:03 a.m., that's the second crash. The last communication made with it, air traffic control, comes at 8:42, but passengers provide detail to the flight by contacting their families by phone.
Lord told me I want there to be a bell at the top of that ceiling when you walk in.
Which is the
And those ring a bell.
reference of the Liberty Bell, which refers to being in Philadelphia. And mind you, he wants you to know that Pope Francis declared him as God. Over here, he wants to tell you that he is the angel of the bottomless pit. This is how he tells the story. The angel of the abyss. Destroyer. So he thinks. So here's one of Johnny's construction trucks that he's acting like is just some random truck. If only your walls could talk.
Guys, what y'all are about to see in the next 10 photos is going to blow your mind. Like 10, 15 photos. This is mind-boggling. The manifestation of the destruction of sheep is going so off the hook. So
he just wants to let you know that he's moving forward between 17th and the 22nd. Yeah, I think that's the party. That's the extended party. It's because after he'll party for 3.5 days, and then well, he plans on partying for a little bit longer actually. So from the 17th to 22nd, it'll be all of the 17th, all of the 18th, all of the 19th, all of the 20th, all of the 21st, and all of the 26th. So he plans on partying for a good 6 days, but just by the license plate alone. So let me just let him tell you with his own words what time the second 9/11 is going to happen. Because the second building that happened, the second building that got hit was at 9:03 a.m. The second building that got hit.
And I was like, Corpus Christi. Y'all know what Corpus Christi means? Corpus Christi means the body of Christ. That's what it means.
So, the body of Christ is going to be killed. You know, on YouTube it's going to be killed. And then he's going to turn his face against the fort of his own land and try to take us by force.
And I was like, Corpus Christi Road. See? Speed limit 50. Let's see. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m.
Wednesday, the second 9/11. Interesting, Tarsh, that you have some deep thoughts. I have a lot of deep thoughts too. It's kind of why I continually pick this guy apart until he submits and tells the damn truth. Now also on, let's take a look at this guy here who's in prison. He's in prison on that day, but it's not actually the Wednesday of October 2nd. It's the Wednesday of October 16th. And here, because Wednesday, October 16th, well, it's Wednesday, October 16th. And him, this guy here, he's in prison on the 16th. You know, TK. Kill T's. So he has the 16th, he has the second 9/11, he has 9:03 a.m. It's connected with the second tower that got hit by the airplane. So when they continue on, that's how they've been doing it. That's how these timelines have been going. That's how these events happen. This is how I get my information. So when it does happen at the exact time, it's just literally impossible for Johnny to get away with it. Yeah, it might happen still. The 9/11 can still happen, because what I'm saying now is just a theory. Ain't nothing happened so far when it comes to the 9/11. I can just show you where he is with it, and he's so prideful that, aren't you, Johnny? Like, let's be honest, if you can be. As you're listening right now, at my voice that you can't stand, right? You're hearing me tell you exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and why you're going to do it, and who it's going to be blamed on. Every story, the entire damn script that has been written out. You heard it from my mouth. You're saying to yourself now, who cares? You're so gone. You're getting shut down on the 16th. You're getting locked up, and once you get out of, once we take you out of jail, you're going to be, well, number one, there's 144 others that we're going to have our ways with, because the fallen angels that fall from heaven, they want to have sex with the 144 virgins, which represents the 144,000. And then you want to stone us to death afterwards. So, and you also know that I have not one backing of anybody, that I have any confirmation of anybody saying anything that you have this certain position once this is over. I don't have that promise. You have that promise. So you're looking at me like right now as, man, what a poor schlum. He's just wasting his time making videos like it's going to matter. Oh my God. Wait until you see how much it matters, Klecks. It matters tremendously. So when it does happen, and it happens specifically in Philadelphia, which it's already Philadelphia. So because I know it's Philadelphia, that's why I try to put a date on it. Now, before the date, I'm actually putting on that it's Building 8. Building 8, because you guys are playing the number 8, and the 7th building of the World Trade Center fell, and then the 8th building is going to fall. You would have your radio show, which is between 7 and 8 p.m., which you did that purposely. Everything's lining up. So because I know it's a Building 8, and it's in Philadelphia, and then you also, not only are you telling us that it's Building 8, but you're telling us that it's been 17 years since you've been starting this ministry. Your name is John F. Kennedy. I mean J.K. Building 8 in Philadelphia, that bank, Chase Bank, I believe the address is 1628, is right there on 17th and John F. Kennedy Boulevard. Everybody's the mouthpiece are referring to John F. Kennedy, the assassination, Trump getting assassinated, just throwing the tidbits out there, airplanes dropping from the skies, or Air Force One, Air Force, you're in an Air Force, dropping from the sky like a fallen angel. Everything that you're saying is lining up. The more and more you talk, and the more you open up your mouth and tell us your story, you're going to do one or two things. You're either going to put yourself in prison for the rest of your life by your own words, or you're going to finally come clean and you're going to tell the world that, number one, all these shootings are fake. Nobody died, because there's no more death, there's no more sorrow, there's no more pain, because this shit here, what you're doing, is gone. There's no more of that. That's what the Bible's talking about, because we're all staying right here. The former things won't come to mind anymore. Yeah, because there's no reason to worry and stress about things that will never happen again. So you're either going to do life in prison for being a mass murderer, which I'm leaning towards, if this second 9/11 happens and people really die, it's going to happen. You're going to get locked up so quick. Well, I mean, after 3.5 days at least, they're going to give you some time to. They got to put together their how they're going to collaborate with all of this. But just know that none are going to come to your help. They're not going to come to your help. So you're giving all the information possible, and you say that you are kept secret, and nobody can prove anything that you're doing or saying. Nobody. And on top of that, Stephen James DeShawn, his channel, I mean, he's straight retired. I wore his ass out. But this was the time. See, what Stephen was going to do before he deleted his channel, he was going to say the same things that I have already said he was going to say before he said it. It ruined his script. So now he just has to, he's like, fuck it. I'm just going to turn my channel off. Whatever, I tried to warn you. My sign is 3.5 days after my channel shut down, absolute destruction begins. That's the second woe. They are using 9/11 as the first woe. Now that I think of it, 9/11 is the first woe, according to them. Because Jonathan Klecks said he started 17 years ago. Basically 18, something like that. But this is the first whoa. Like this is the first whoa that I remember. Like, whoa. Right? So they play the Bible out literally. So this is the first woe. And then the second woe comes with the second 9/11. And the second 9/11 is going to be connected with a continuance of the first building to the second building. The first building, 8:45, 6, something like that ish. And then the second building crash comes at 9:03 a.m. The same time you're talking about Wednesday when you drove by Corpus Christi and it was at 9:03 a.m. Just happened to be 9:03 a.m. All of these coincidences is pointing the finger directly at you, Kleck. But you're not going to repent. You're not going to stop. You're going to keep going. You're going to do the second 9/11. Like almost as if the second coming of Christ. There is a rumor out there that Christ was born on 9/11. Let me check that. Yeah, so see this? September 11th, 3 BC. You know, you're close. It's really October 2nd, 7 BC. So that's one rumor. So, okay, fine. We'll go with that theory, right? But know this, the Antichrist is always born first. He's always born first, which means he gets destroyed first. October 2nd, which is when he was really born, 7 BC, which made him 39 and a half when he was crucified, happens to be exactly 21 days later. So there's a 21-day delay because of this exact reason right here. The fake date of the day that Christ was born. So, because you have the fake date, and you don't even realize what the real date is, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but, so here I am being locked up on the 16th. The very next clip is the second 9/11 on Wednesday, but it's also October 2nd, which is the birth of Christ. Now, because you're sitting at table 37, and it was October 7th, and from the last major news dominating event, the shooting that happened by the Home Depot in Texas, in your hometown, near Corpus Christi probably, that's exactly 37 days. Now, so at the end of the day, starting on the 1st, going to the 16th, which is Wednesday, the midst of the week is 45 days. Like as in if the 45th president, 450 false prophets.
And I was like, Corpus Christi Road. See? Speed limit 50. Let's see. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. 50. Let's see. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. when I went to go get that shower pan. That was the day I went to go get it. Wednesday, 9:03 a.m. Okay, the letter Z and the letter P. That's 26:16. The Lord told me.
You see Robin trying to hold on to Philadelphia when he's going to be drugged down. You know, from like the 16th to the 26th. It's a 10-day period. These are the days that he plans on putting me in jail. From the 16th to the 26th.
Want me to look it up in the Bible because it's an angel falling and the other one's being eaten by a T-Rex.
So he's saying that there's an angel falling, which is him, and then the other one being eaten by a T-Rex.
It says down, according to dynasties, exercise rulership properly, powerfully bringing someone down, denying them the higher position or blessing they should enjoy. You know, like an angel.
See, he's using this as a negative. He's using this as if he's gloating over what he thinks he's getting ready to do.
An angel being brought down. That's why that angel in Led Zeppelin is holding on to a Z and a P. Z is 26, P is 16. So
no, Z is the 26th of October and P is the 16th of October, Wednesday, in the midst of the week. So when Stephen James DeShawn rises back up on Wednesday, when all hell breaks loose, then Steve's letting you know that his channel got shut down, and then that's that 3.5 day period where you're going to know when all hell breaks loose. If you believe that Stephen is God in the flesh, then and you've been following him, watching him, and knowing that his channel shut down, and knowing that these are the things, this is Bible prophecy. After 3.5 days, once Christ dies, he rises back up, and then great fear falls upon everybody. But the reality is, there's another 3.5 day period. That's why Klecks going to prolong his party time, because he's looking at the first 3.5 days, and then after that 3.5 days, once everything's the same and everything's good, he's going to turn his face back to the fort of his own land. But see, after 3.5 days is when the breath of life enters back into God's witnesses. And I believe a great earthquake happens. You know, it's a spiritual one, because the first one is a mimic. The first one is like saying that you were born on 9/11 when you were actually born on October 2nd. So the first one is, well, it's a mock-up. The first one's fake. The first one will be produced. The second one is when after 3.5 days, when the breath of life enters back in. Like, what is the breath of life? To me, the breath of life to me would be my channel shutting down. My breath is no longer heard. The words that come out of my mouth, my mouth is shut up. I'm silenced. I'm finished. When the breath of life enters back into the YouTube world, then there's going to be great fear that falls upon Johnny Klecks and the rest. There will be. Because they're going to realize that the only way that could have happened as if exactly what Robin said was going to happen happened. That's the only way. I'm the only one that I am saying this about him and what he's responsible for, and only I know truly in my heart. As a human being, that's what I know from the outside looking in. Others are seeing it. You're seeing what I'm showing you. It's pretty undeniable. I mean, you know, he's looking to eat me, is what he's doing. That guy that makes those videos all the time, he has a demon in him.
Can you be saved without knowing that everything's upside down? It's a yes or no answer. My question to you is how? It's impossible by definition.
See? It's impossible for anybody to know what he knows.
You have to know the truth, and the truth will set you free, because this is the lie.
You notice how he's pointing at himself, pointing down, like at his feet.
This is the truth. This is darkness. This is light. This is evil. This is good. You understand? There are polar opposites of each other. Satan, God, darkness, light, evil, good, down, up. Your time is up. Kind of hard to argue with that. It's pretty simple. Okay, so now it's time for a little video thing, and so now this is a little slideshow, and then I'm going to play the slideshow, and then we're going to talk about it. Then I'll do another little slideshow, and that'll be our Friday night hanging out together.
All right, so Friday night is the party night. That's the party. Friday, right here. He's going to play a slideshow, and then he's going to talk about it, and then he's going to play another slideshow, and that'll be our Friday hanging out together. Oh, and by the way,
together. Oh, and by the way, then like Sunday or Monday, I'm going to deliver the Mark of the Beast video.
Tidal waves. Here comes the tsunamis.
Yeah, you know,
yep.
I mean, it's phenomenal knowledge.
It is.
But
Hawaii exploding, the volcanic eruption, the flood coming after us, and but see, the Earth's going to